Hi everybody, and welcome again to the nutritional videos for our Ultimate 8-Week Challenge Series 2. We're up to week 7 already. There's only 8 weeks, so we're almost through. This week we're talking about vitamins, minerals and supplements, and I'm just going to sort of break it into the bare bones of the ones that are going to affect you the most with your training. Okay? Plenty of vitamins and minerals that we could talk about, and there are a million different ways that they can affect the body, but we're just going to focus on the 4. We're talking about calcium, we're going to talk about potassium, have a little chat about sodium because that's another really important one, and then iron. Iron's another really important mineral to have in the body, even though it's only a trace element, so we don't need a hell of a lot, but what we do need is super important for our training. Yeah. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week, and the first one we're going to be talking about is potassium. Alright, so potassium. Just a little bit of background on potassium. So it helps with our fluid and electrolyte balance in the body. Super important for training purposes. And potassium is also great for, you know, when you're getting those cramps, you get through your session, you got those cramps, right? That's because your electrolyte and fluid balance is out. So that's why potassium is super important. And it's also involved in a lot of our muscular contractions, okay? So anytime that you need to do some forced reps or you're really trying to push out a multitude of sets and reps, potassium is going to be involved because it needs to be there for those muscular contractions, okay? So that's really important. Potassium is very common. It's very common in fresh foods. So if you're eating fresh foods, you're eating plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, you're going to be getting plenty of potassium, okay? What you also need to understand is that anything that's processed, anything in a packet, anything that you've got to rip open, is going to have all that potassium, all that good stuff taken right out of it, okay? So fresh corn, plenty of potassium. If you get creamed corn out of a can, hardly any at all, all right? So go fresh varieties over the canned stuff and you'll get plenty of potassium in. So if you don't have enough potassium, stroke, all right, high blood pressure, all of these bad things, kidney stones. So obviously we want to make sure we're getting enough in because those things are horrible. We don't want any of those. The adequate intake that you are supposed to have is 4,700 milligrams. All right, that's 4700 milligrams. It sounds like a lot, but a milligram isn't a hell of a lot, right? So if you're eating plenty of your 2 fresh fruits every day and you're having your 5 veggies, you'll probably get all of that in, okay? So don't worry about it too much. But 4,700 milligrams is the key. And the other thing with potassium is the fresh foods are the key, right? So that's all you need to remember. Plenty of fresh foods, avoid any of your processed foods, and you'll get plenty of that good potassium in. For example, with your potassium, okay, 1 baked potato is going to give you 500 milligrams. That's only 1 medium-sized baked potato, okay? So keep your skin on. The whole foods are best, all right? So don't peel anything if you can help it. If it's a fresh food, eat all of it, and you'll get more potassium out of it. But 500 milligrams in a single potato, and that'll give you a bit of an idea on how to make up your 4,700 milligrams. Okay, another good example is if you're having beans. Beans are an excellent source of potassium, okay? Now, pinto beans, if you can source those from a health food store, they're excellent for you. They actually have about 600 milligrams in a half a cup of pinto beans, right? So beans are excellent as well. So that's where that freshness comes in. Eat the whole bean, don't peel it off, don't get it processed. Eat those whole beans and you'll get plenty of potassium. Alright, I did say we'd be very brief on sodium, and we will be. Sodium is bad, okay? So we want to avoid all of our high processed foods. They will have tons of sodium. You know those 2-minute noodles that you have? They're very quick, they're very easy. Some say that they taste good. I don't believe it, but some say they do taste good. They've got every single milligram of sodium that you're supposed to have in a day comes in 1 packet of 2-minute noodles. Alright? So it has 2,300 milligrams of salt. Okay, sodium in 2-minute noodles, very, very bad. That is your whole daily requirement. 2,300 milligrams, that's it for the whole day. Okay, so if you're having 2-minute noodles, don't. Avoid it and go on to something fresh, okay? Alright, let's talk about calcium. Calcium is one of the major nutrients that you need to make sure that you're getting plenty of, okay? Calcium, as most people know, is related to your bone health. So if you're having plenty of dairy products, which is where you get most of your calcium from, you'll probably have nice dense bones, okay? Now, especially when you take it into a training area. So coming here to Fit Club, there is a lot of stress placed on your bones. Anytime that you're doing any training, especially body weight work, when we're doing explosive moves, things like that, bones need to be strong, okay? All your muscles, tendons, they all attach onto your bones as well. So if you're getting a lot of stress on those bones, they need to be strong. So calcium, super, super important for that. It's also really important for things like blood clotting. And making sure that you regulate your blood calcium levels, okay? So blood calcium levels are really important because if you're not getting enough calcium in, your body will steal it from your bones so that your blood calcium levels can remain neutral and level, all right? So if you're not taking enough in, your body will steal it from your bones, and then that can lead to things like osteoporosis, which I'm sure nobody wants. All right, we want that when we're 90, not even then, but later on in life, okay? So make sure you're getting plenty of calcium. Okay, the adequate intake, so how much you should have per day is 1,000 milligrams, okay? 1,000 milligrams of calcium. So just as a heads up, 1 cup of low-fat milk, because we should all be eating low-fat, right? Low-fat dairy is the way to go. 1 cup of low-fat milk will give you about 300 milligrams. And you only need 1,000, so as you can see, the dairy products are the best way to get you there without having to eat a million things. Another really good source of calcium is sardines, but you've got to have them with the bones already in, okay? You know, like your salmon and all that, where they've all got those tiny little edible bones. They are excellent sources of calcium, all right? So sardines will give you about, just one little tin of sardines with bones in, gives you about 430 milligrams. So it's almost half of what you're required to have every day. Okay, so sardines and all of your dairy products. If you have 3 serves of dairy every day, you should be sweet, okay? So make sure you get that in, and you know that you'll be right and your bones will be strong and healthy for your training. All right, now coming on to arguably the most important one of them all, iron. Okay, it is the most common nutrient deficiency in the world. All right, now, couple of reasons for that, but basically iron is used extensively all over the body. Every metabolic process in the body uses iron, okay? So that's why it's super important to make sure we've got enough of it. It's also used in our electron transport chain, and so for those of you who know a little bit about it, that's where we get our energy from, right? That's how our body produces ATP, which is our major energy source for all of our intense workouts. Rightio, so there are 2 major types of iron. There's heme iron and non-heme iron. All right, so that might sound a little technical and jargonish, but basically what you need to know is that the heme iron, which comes from all of your animal sources, okay, so if you're eating meat, eggs, poultry, any of that stuff, will have heme iron. Now, heme iron is more readily absorbed by the body, okay? It'll pretty much take all of that heme iron and it will use it. The non-heme iron, which comes from all of your plant sources, things like celery, things like broccoli and cauliflower, those types of things, so they will give you some iron. Spinach, you know, spinach, Popeye and all that. Anyway, so they will give you the non-heme iron, and the non-heme iron isn't as readily absorbed by the body. So if you're a vegetarian and you're only eating plant sources, you do need a lot more because your body won't take all of the iron that's in that, okay? So the heme iron sources from animals, really good to be able to take it in by the body. The non-heme sources, not as good, still really good to have a mixture of both, but just understand that the heme iron will be absorbed better by the body, the non-heme won't. Okay? If you don't have enough iron, you're going to suffer in class, okay? Muscle fatigue, mental fatigue, anemia. Iron deficiency leads to a lot of bad things in the body, okay? A lot of processes will break down, so it's really important to get the adequate amount. Now, how much should you have? It's different for males and females, all right? Because females, at that time of the month when they lose a lot of blood, they lose a lot of iron, all right? So it's really important that the females in particular really keep an eye on their iron content. 8 milligrams for guys, that's what we should be having, 8 milligrams. For females, 18, okay? Now, that's women of childbearing age, so if you've already gone through menopause, you don't need as much. You can just have 8, that's fine. But if you're in those childbearing years, so up to 50 or so, you need to have a lot more. So 18 milligrams is the key, okay? And once again, 8 milligrams for guys, 18 milligrams for the girls. Really important to get it from the heme sources, all right? So aim for more of your meat and your eggs and your fish and your poultry. Things like that, they're going to be awesome sources and will get your iron content up through the roof. The other key factor with iron, now this is probably the most important thing, to help the iron get taken into the cells and be used by the body most efficiently, have it with some vitamin C. So half a glass of 100% orange juice or cranberry juice or any of those high vitamin C drinks with your iron source will help your body to uptake it and use that iron more efficiently, okay? So that's one really key thing that you can make sure that you do with any of your meat sources that you're eating, is to have it with a little bit of vitamin C, and then you know your body's going to take all that iron in. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That's week 7 done. I hope the vitamins and minerals and supplements, just to finish off, just one thing. Don't need supplements. Just wanted to throw that out there again. Now, I know we've covered it before, but you really don't need them unless you know and you've got a blood test from your doctor saying that you need to take something. Don't do it, all right? Get it from food. Food is the best source. So don't get rid of your protein powders. You don't need them. If you're on lots of vitamins and minerals and you're having a multivitamin tablet, if you don't know why, get off it, okay? eat your food, and if you're then feeling like you're struggling, go to your doctor, get a blood test, and make sure that you know that what you're putting into the body, those vitamins or minerals that you're putting in, that you know that you're deficient in them, okay, so that they have an actual effect. All right, so get off all of the vitamins and minerals, and you don't need supplements unless your doctor tells you that you do. All right, so go and get checked out with that. Now, I'm not going to tell you what's coming up next week. I'm going to leave it as a surprise, so you guys have to tune in. And obviously, once again, if there's any questions, post them underneath, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next week.